well, first of all, another wild week. You know what I mean? So much,
Yeah, I mean,
and and then obviously we went back to the Ukraine and then the Trump situation, and well, now have you been hearing about the new negotiation that's going on?
yeah, they're starting to get like a tentative ceasefire, perhaps. I mean, at least they're talking about a ceasefire to not do infrastructure attacks for 30 days.
Well, they're attacking each other as we speak right now, both sides.
It's a start.
It's a start.
I mean, if we agree to stop targeting electrical facilities, I mean, that's something.
Well, I mean, I think right when they agreed on that, I think that night Russia basically attacked, Ukraine, and Ukraine did the same basically. And now they're going back and forth like, you broke the ceasefire. No, 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 no. You broke the ceasefire.
I was going to say, historically, that's what you would expect from Slavic warfare, too.
Yeah, so now it's like,
Counter accusation, admit nothing, deny everything. You fired first. No, you fired first.
yeah, pretty much. So now they're going back to Saudi Arabia and to rehash out and legit ceasefire. So we'll see. Have you seen that? The what is it? The left side of media was basically saying like, look at Putin making Trump look like a bitch.
I would expect no less.
Oh man, look at him. Was it Putin went on like some people say it kind of looks staged, and I think it is kind of look like staged because he was getting an interview on a newscast, and the guy was basically like, "Hey, aren't you supposed to have like a call with Trump right now?" And he's like, "Nah, I can wait." And some people are like, "That just sounds. It looks staged simply because why would he just advertise that out this? Why would you be like, hey, isn't it time for you to like talk to Trump? Why would that question like that even arrive in the middle of an interview?"
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but respect the swagger, though. Like, if Trump indeed was waiting for his phone call,
Yeah.
and he's like, nah, Trump can wait.
Well, I mean,
That's the only man who can tell Trump to wait and get away with it.
pretty much. I think it was like for 2 hours. Imagine what Trump is just like. I can't.
He's got the red phone in the office. He's waiting for it to ring.
Oh my god.
Like, where is this guy? He
Yeah.
said he was going to call at 7.
Yeah, but at this point, obviously, Russia has all the advantages, because they're obviously trying to get as much territory as they can before the negotiation happens. They're not trying to give up any territories. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, this really is like, this is Russia's deal to make. I mean, like,
Pretty much.
Ukraine doesn't even really need a spot at the table. I mean, it's like, if American money goes out and European resources go out too, like, Ukraine cannot fight back on their own. And then it's like, like, it's unfortunate for Ukraine, but I mean, it's like, they can try and negotiate like damage control, but I mean, like, what's going to happen to them is what Russia says is going to happen, basically.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Even Trump has no power in this situation. He's been thrown around left to right. I mean, he waved his authority around to, Vladimir, what is his name? Zelensky, but that was about it. You know what I mean? That Oval Office is not happening with Putin at all.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they cannot strong arm Putin into something he doesn't want to do because, I mean, that's the Russian style of fighting wars. I mean, it's just human waves, just keep on the pressure. Like, Russians can hold out way longer than the Ukrainians can. I mean,
Right, yeah.
Russia's got their own demographic problems, serious ones, but they're less severe than the Ukrainians' problems.
Yeah.
And then you also have to think, if the U.S. is no longer involved or interested, what is Europe going to have a draft? Are they going to draft all the men and send them to Ukraine?
They're talking like it. I mean, they're saying they're trying to send peacekeepers there regardless what America says. We're going to send them there.
Peacekeepers.
Right.
Security guaranteers.
That's right.
Like, it's the easiest thing in the world when you're at your house in London waving your Ukraine flag. I support this, I support that. That's the easiest thing in your nice hot house.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes time to put your fucking boots on and go marching in, that's when it gets a lot less fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if the leaders in Europe want to keep this going and they want to send all their young men, let's see how committed they really are.
Yeah. We'll see on that.
Because I'm betting there's going to be a lot of eggs on face if it really came down to it.
Yeah, I know that we slipped in also something else, the security guarantee aspect for Ukraine, to say that we'll be in charge of their infrastructure. That's what we said. We stopped talking about the mineral conversation. Now we're going to the infrastructure. We'll be in charge of it. That's what we're saying basically now.
Man.
So Russia doesn't bomb it and.
I was going to say, if we're going to be in charge of the infrastructure, man, you better buy Halliburton because it's about to moon. Raytheon. All the players in Iraq, buy big because it's going to go parabolic.
Yeah. Okay, going back to the Middle East, the Houthis. The Houthis are, back at it.
Yeah, are we going to declare war on them or what are we doing?
They're so amateurs. Have you seen that video of them celebrating and just dancing?
No.
They're just not a serious people, okay? They're not. They were so unserious that we literally took them off the terrorist list for that reason. We're like, does that even matter? But they're annoyed. They want to be part of the terrorist list. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we are worthy.
I'm a big terrorist. I'm a big boy.
So we're treating them like a big boys now. They're back on the list, and obviously they're upset that the ceasefires broke in Israel and the Palestine conflict. Ceasefires broke, and they're going in hard. I mean, it's what is it? Obviously, you've seen the Jew hatred around everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it was 1 week I think this last week specifically, it was crazy. I think every podcast, everybody has somebody who was blaming the Jews. It was like, if you're Jewish, I think the past 2 weeks, you couldn't go to any of your favorite podcasts because they were all there. They were everywhere. It's spewing some nonsense, first of all.
I mean, after October 7th, how could you possibly be still a Jew and not understand what you're dealing with? You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
There's no possible way.
Yeah.
How could it possibly still be a surprise if you are a Jew? What do you mean they hate us all? Have you not been out in the sunlight since October 7th?
Oh, man. Did you see the JFK files being released? Did you find anything new? What did I tell you?
I didn't even really. I was like, who did it? And then
the people who think, Israel is responsible for it, they haven't changed their perspective. Obviously, why would they change? Nobody's mind was changed. Same thing with the Epstein file that we talked about. It's just all the major information that we need to know, it's been out. It's already out there. It's just not as juicy as you want it to be. It's not the connection that you made in your head. So therefore, it's somebody's hiding it.
Yeah, where's the CIA? Where's the mob? Who's the patsy? Name a name.
Well, I mean, it's 80,000 files. So I'm sure somebody's they'll find a ways to connect whatever they want. You can create whatever story you want with 80,000 files,
Yeah, I mean, then you got guys like Ian Carroll who are Jack Ruby's dad. He went to college with a Kennedy.
Yo, did you see his new thing about the Bible was written by the Rothschilds to save the Christians?
Now that's the type of conspiracy I can really get into.
Oh my God. Yo.
Those are the best kind of conspiracies.
Everyone of the whole Bible. And somebody was like, well, I mean, look at it. All the Bibles, all the authors, Jews.
You see?
Who wrote the book?
Those are the best kind of
Oh my God.
Those are the conspiracies that make being a conspiracy theorist fun.
He said, well, look at the authors. There's what he said, 26 books, and they're all been written by
Like, those are the kind of conspiracy theories we need now.
Oh my god.
They make it fun. Like, you know that the Bible is a Rothschild-backed Jewish conspiracy, right?
Oh man,
Like,
dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, we need to bring the fun back into conspiracy theories.
But yeah, so the JFK file came out. Obviously, whatever you expected, we already know. There's already know what you need to know. It's just that people are never satisfied. Let's just say, even right now, let's just say that you can prove that there's no connection or whatever. What's his name? The guy who killed him?
Supposedly.
Oh my God! What is his
Lee
name?
Harvey Oswald?
Yeah, he did it, and he did it alone. Okay, and I mean, there's the more information coming out is just like they've been following him. It's just like pinpointing that like, yeah, it was him. Like there's no other person. This guy was like definitely working with the Russians. I mean, it's all right there.
Yeah, he went to like the Russian embassy in Mexico for a visa.
But people wanted to be the Jews so bad. They're trying to connect the Epstein to JFK. It's just crazy to me.
Is Oswald a Jewish name?
Get Ian, investigate.
I mean, it's I think it's a valid question. Like, what's the etymology of the last name Oswald?
But anyway,
his wife was a Russian. There's Jews in Russia.
They are Jews in Russia, yeah.
There's a lot of Jews in Russia.
There was a lot of them, yeah.
Is his wife Jewish?
Oh my god.
His wife didn't even speak English. He wouldn't let her learn English. Does that mean he spoke Russian?
Oh my goodness.
What'd they talk about at the house?
Yeah, man, it's pretty wild. It was wild. So anyway, the ceasefire was broken by Hamas because Hamas doesn't want to, well, really is that I think they're done. Like they had the Biden administration was kind of like handcuffing them in a way, and they're like, hey, you can't go too far. We have to like analyze everything you're doing. But now the Trump administration came. You saw that, I think it was like a few weeks ago, and he's like, shalom. Shalom, Hamas, it's over, hello, goodbye, don't play around. If you don't release these hostages, I'm just going to let Israel do whatever they want to you. You know what I mean? And that's what, go ahead.
Did you see that Fetterman, he got a visit from Bibi Netanyahu?
Oh, really?
Yeah, Fetterman got a silver-plated pager from Bibi Netanyahu.
Oh, no!
Like commemorate like the pager operation.
Yeah.
They're like, Fetterman, you're a friend of ours. Take this gift as a commemoration.
Oh my god. But anyway.
Yeah, for like Fetterman's unending support of Israel.
Yeah, so anyway,
we appreciate you.
what was it? Hamas basically decided to make a spectacle about when they were doing the prisoner exchange. Did you see the whole spectacle they did? They brought the whole town out. And they were carrying the dead bodies around, basically, celebrating. They had like Netanyahu with horns in his head. They were singing songs. It looked like it was a whole festival.
Yeah, I'm like, this is all Middle Eastern war culture stuff. Like, nothing about this should be odd to somebody who pays attention.
Exactly.
They love parading dead bodies around.
Exactly. So anyway,
theirs and the enemies.
So anyway, Israel finally said it's enough and enough. So now they basically went back to attacking them. They're going ham. So the Houthis were like, okay, our enemies are back. So therefore, we're going to start attacking again. And obviously, when the Biden administration was in charge, the Houthis were attacking a bunch of ships. They were kidnapping a bunch of people. And they weren't doing anything about it. To the point that a lot of people even equate the inflation to the Houthis as well. Like good percentage of it. Because ships were taking a lot longer. They were avoiding the Red Sea because they don't want to, obviously get kidnapped.
Yeah, if you cut out the Suez Canal, it's a long way around Africa.
Yeah. So obviously, the new administration was like, "We're not doing this. We're had enough." So they put them back on the terrorist list and they started attacking them basically. So now they're gonna be gone. They're gonna be gone pretty soon. And it's good. It's good for the world. Okay. And they're obviously saying that. We're not even done yet, you know what I mean? We're coming for you. I think one of their leaders, military leaders, was saying that. He's like, if you think this is the last of us, you're mistaken. So now they're trying to make the connection from them to Iran. Now, Iran is basically saying that, like, we have nothing to do with this. But obviously, they're supplying all these, terrorists around Middle East. They're the big boys. They're the main. They would say the head.
The Iranians are the biggest state sponsors of terrorism.
At this point, I think they're the only one left. Once the Houthis are out of the way, Iran is our main target. But the thing is, the Iranian people are not even about this regime, and this regime is not. It's not. What is it? They're literally forcing. Have you been seeing all these videos of these women are basically protesting like in crazy way, like not wearing the hijab. What is it? And they're getting kidnapped. Obviously, if you don't wear the hijab, you get kidnapped. It's against the law.
Iran used to be the spot to be. Like, have you seen the pictures of that place before the Ayatollah took over?
I did, yeah.
Like, it was modern. It was liberal. It was progressive.
It was Persians. You know, they're looking
like the
good.
women are all beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Iran looked like the spot to go to.
I agree.
Afghanistan used to be the spot too.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah, like Kabul, Afghanistan. Like we going kicking it in Tehran. But yeah, like I don't know what
Yes,
hopefully they can regain the glory days.
Yeah, I mean it's only one head left. So and it's just a matter of time. I would say they're obviously had enough. If these women are literally trying to get arrested, you know, define all these ridiculous law they're creating, I think it's just a matter of time. Eventually, it's going to happen. And as this administration is pushing, Iran a little bit more, I think there's just a lot of powder cake. If they put the sanctions back on them with the oil, I mean, once the money dries out, that's when stuff gets real, you know. So just in time, I would say. But what does that mean? What is it? Mineral deal with Congo you're talking about?
Yeah, so apparently, the Congolese government asked Trump if he could possibly help them get rid of the rebels, and in exchange, they would get like access to the minerals in the Congo.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like a security guarantee thing. It's like, hey, we're having trouble with these like paramilitary junta rebels or whatever.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of rebels there.
Yeah,
it's not just one though. There's a bunch of factions.
Yeah, they have a bunch of that. But yeah, apparently the government says if you can help us with military aid to get rid of these people, we'll cut you in on mineral deals for the DRC.
Yeah, how is the American people going to feel about that?
On the one hand, I mean, depends what kind of involvement they want. On the other, I mean, DRC has the world's supply of nickel, cobalt, coltan, like all the 21st century minerals they have the most of.
Right.
China wants it too. India wants it. Everybody wants it. It would make sense for us to be the first at the trough just so the other guy can't have it. But TIA and do we really have the stomach to get into like bush wars in Africa again? Like this has the potential to spiral way out of control and get way deeper than anybody wants to get in. So
yeah, why would this be different than people blame the Iraq war simply for the resource, right? The oil.
Yeah.
Why would this be any different?
That would be a good argument to make too.
Same with Afghanistan too. We were going there and then we left.
Yeah, I mean we boofed Afghanistan on the mineral deals. The Chinese took that one. So I mean,
but in the sense of like we're not like we were talking about like every 4 years there's new guy, new ideas. I just feel that if we all came together and we were like the minerals we want and we all agree that's not like taking advantage of them or saying that these war is just ridiculous, we're wasting a bunch of lives and not really thinking about the mineral deal and like that what we get out of it, and as like both sides came together and said like this is a long-term mission, not like short-term thinking, like long-term thinking, I think it would be a great investment. But it's just the fact that I'm afraid that in 4 years, what are we doing there? we getting our
Why
people
are
killed.
we in the DRC? Yeah, I mean,
And that's gonna ruin it. Now a new person is coming with new ideas, and then different policies will go there that would just ruin it, and it would just become like a cycle of the every place we went to. That's literally what happens.
It would be hard to make an argument for somebody of a liberal mindset that this is not colonialism.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, honestly, if we were going to do it, I would probably argue that
we could do it.
We absolutely could do it.
We 100% could do it.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably make the argument it would be better to do like the English did in India. Just have like a private company run it. Like have Halliburton retrieve the minerals. And then, they can run the security for it. Like give out contracts to people to run it. Kind of decentralize it. But yeah, I mean, as far as like actual American military involvement.
Yeah.
That would be a hard sell.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, yeah.
Yeah, because I think, like, if the contractors get in over their head, that's the next step.
And I think that would be a great scapegoat, too, is like, it's not the government, it's these contract companies. You know,
I mean, that's plausible deniability, too.
100%, yeah.
Because they can treat the locals any kind of way, and it's...
Hey, that's not us. This is not the U.S. government.
Just tell the locals it's better than what the Chinese would do to them.
Oh man, but yeah. I mean, like I said, it'll take a long time too. I mean, the place is so not. I mean, the condition in the Congo is absurd. Like it's not just easy, just the logistic aspect.
Oh, it's one of the poorest countries in the world. And I guess apparently you wouldn't really know it from like, the way our maps are, the projection in the maps, where like Greenland looks huge and, Africa looks small because it's right on the equator.
Yeah.
But like the DRC is a massive country.
Yes.
Like, yeah, like, and it's in the middle of Africa where there's like no interstates,
dude,
no rail.
Yeah, a lot of jungle, a lot of not jungle. It's just so much. There's just a lot to go
Horrible terrain.
Yeah.
Surrounded by hostile states.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
actually, that was what's going on. I think like a fraction of the rebels were coming into Rwanda, and then they're also having problems with them as well. I mean, they're just, like I said, just the surrounding area. There's just a lot of...
Yeah, even getting the minerals from like where they're mined out to like the open market, just to ship them out by sea is like a logistical
100%
problem, I mean, yeah, on the one hand, like this does seem like it could pay off, but it's also like this is a huge risk.
Huge risk, yeah.
Like TIA. Has anybody ever successfully long-term colonized anywhere in Africa?
No, I think no. I was gonna say what's his name? Botswana. Botswana has been great.
Yeah. Have they been long? They used to be an English colony, right?
Yeah.
The English are no longer still there, though.
No.
Like, has anybody gone into Africa and stayed?
No. You can't do that. No.
See, like functionally, I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
If you wait long enough, TIA takes over.
Was it? Oh no! I remember you sent me the Chinese video.
Yeah, Empire of Dust.
Was it Congo? Oh.
Yeah, he was in the Congo.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was like a Belt and Road thing where it's like the Congolese wanted a road built to this mine, and the Chinese contracted to build the road, and in exchange they were going to get a cut of the minerals from the mine, and it was just boondoggle after boondoggle.
Right.
Dealing with the corruption, the locals, the infrastructure, the logistics, the culture. I mean,
what was that funny scene the guy said? What did he say? So the Europeans came here and they built all. What was he saying?
Yeah, he was saying something like, the Belgians came, they built all this infrastructure, they had all these sewer plants and these railroads and things were going well, and then they left, and then you just tore up all the iron and scrapped it, and you don't take care of anything. This is all shit. And every argument, the guy just kept going back to, yeah, but the Belgians were bad.
Yeah, so the Congo thing, I mean, not in my lifetime. I don't see that happening. If it does happen, it's not gonna be. We're not gonna get benefit from that anytime soon. If we go, and I don't think we will go anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I send the contractors. I mean, that if you're a young man and you're tired of life, like this is French Foreign Legion. I mean, this is like the stuff movies are made out of, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, what if you're just like 19 years old and you're fed up with working at Walmart, and then all this contractor money's coming through Africa?
Mm-hmm.
Adventure. Carry a gun.
Oh my god.
Like, that's the type of thing where, like, you could literally make a movie out of it. Like, it would be a hell of an adventure for a young man, but, like, man, there's such boondoggle potential in that.
Yeah, he'll be Scar though. He'll definitely have stories for sure. You know.
Oh, ask anybody who's done the Peace Corps over there. They see too much.
Okay, let's move to the what is it? Department of Education getting dismantled, or at least they're trying to dismantle it.
He was supposed to do an executive order today to dismantle it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if he did or not, but I was seeing today was the day with an executive order to start dismantling it.
Well, I mean, obviously,
It puts the fries in the bag.
obviously, Congress still has the last say at the end of the day. But the funny part was to me that as they were, as they were talking about it, McMahon's gonna be in charge, and she's basically like, "Yep, I'm getting this started. I'm getting rid of
I'm
a lot
the
of people."
hatchet man.
Yeah, and what is it? The teachers union, whatever. The lady who's in charge of the whole union.
Oh, shrieking.
Yeah, but the thing.
Shrieking.
So she's doing all these,
Tears.
she's doing all these interviews, and trying to tell people like they're getting rid of the jobs. You know what they're ruining. And I was trying to wait for her to tell us what they actually do. And it was funny that she was like, "Well, the thing is, we don't even do what they think we do." I'm like, "Okay,
Red flag.
keep
That's
going."
a red flag.
I was like, "Keep going." And she was basically pointing out that like most of this stuff that we think they do, the states already does it. Like all the majority of the things, state does the work for them. So I'm thinking like, okay, point us what you do.
So why are you here?
Yeah, why are you here? And she's like, we're who's gonna help these? She went back to the poor kids. We're helping the poor kids. She went on about civil right movement stuff. Those laws. She's basically talking about just like stuff that needs to be get rid of. Like the people who want to get rid of the the federal education. She's basically pointing out why we should get rid of them. Like she's pointing out to say that we're helping, all these research. Let the private do it. Why are you doing it? We're helping basically unprivileged kids. The state, the state can't do that. Are you saying the states are not capable of helping? Unprivileged kids, whatever. And that's what anybody can do that. That's not like something we really need you to do. You get what I'm saying?
I mean,
so it's just like every point that she was making, it was something that we don't really need.
I would say you could also look to like Roosevelt here in St. Louis. Possibly the argument that the state can handle it isn't that great when you look at like Roosevelt and Vashon.
Yeah, but do you think the federally they can handle it?
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. I mean, like, they're like, who will educate the kids without the Department of Education? And then you're like, test scores have been continuously going down. Outcomes have continuously been getting worse, despite more and more money being thrown at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think at this point, you're within your right to go, what's going on here? Like,
yeah.
The more money you throw at it, the worse the outcomes get. Clearly, there's a mismatch here.
That's right, yeah. And they don't want to acknowledge it. So, obviously, they're dismantling it. And, again, the last thing they have... the other thing they were talking about is like, this is gonna... What is it? Gonna put pressure on unemployment system. You know what I mean? They're having thousands of teachers gonna be unemployed. I mean, thousands of, federal teachers...
Bureaucrats.
Basically, a bunch of bureaucrats going to be employed, and they're afraid that's going to put pressure on the unemployment system. And they're looking sympathy from that. Like, that's what they're using to justify why they shouldn't get rid of them. Like, I don't even understand. What are you
Again,
talking about?
again, like they don't understand. Like when they say, "Who's gonna look? The bureaucrats are gonna be out of work." Like for most people, this is pornography for us. Like the thought of like lifelong career bureaucrats being thrown onto the soup line.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to mine coal. Like they were very unsympathetic with like the pipeline workers and the coal miners, and I mean like
Yeah.
I remember. I'm not sympathetic. Like
Yeah.
look, learn to mine coal or drive Uber. Like it puts the fries in the bag. Like that hangs over the head of every single private sector employer.
Yeah, and you
Like
can
every day I go to work, I'm thinking, am I going to get fired today?
and you can argue like most of the federal laws when it comes to education, they did more harm than good in general. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and let's call it like it is too. I mean, like colleges right now are in a predicament, and I mean elementary schools also, but colleges right now are in a predicament because the 2008 recession, right?
Mm-hmm.
Recessions are very bad for childbirth. A
Okay.
lot of people don't have kids during recessions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were supposed to be born in 2008, you would be going to college right about now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of kids who weren't born because of the recession that aren't alive to go to college now. So you're going to see a lot of smaller colleges probably fade out because there's no students to go to them.
Well, yeah, it's happening as we speak. How many colleges every year is being closed?
Yeah, I mean, and the kids who are alive to go to college are becoming increasingly jaded about the proposition of it.
That's right. Yeah.
But I mean, it's also happening to elementary schools here in the city too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of elementary schools in the city are closing because I mean, our population's like a third what it used to be.
Yeah. Same.
We have way too many schools for the amount of kids.
Yeah, and there was also
And these colleges are still pumping out teachers. I mean, every year they just pump out more elementary education majors. It's like, where are you expecting to go? You know?
Yeah. So that's another reason they're talking about. They're like one of their other jobs that they're doing federally for the students is the loans that they're giving out to this, which I think it's a good thing to get rid of these loans in the first place. Like I don't think it's doing good for the kids. The only people who are benefiting from it is the universities.
Yeah, and I mean like universities have massive endowments too. Like billions of dollars of endowment. Like they could fund their own student loan program if they really wanted to.
100%.
But then that would be racist though because you have to start looking at credit worthiness,
Which they should. Well, that's another thing they're saying that we're trying to equalize the educational system. If we weren't involved, then we couldn't be doing some DUI stuff.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, if the feds got out of like the loan business and it went strictly to like economics,
Yeah.
there'd be a lot of rugs pulled out from under a lot of people. But I mean, that's also why the cost of college has gone up so much. I mean, there's a disconnect between like economics and reality. If everybody's guaranteed to get in and everybody can get a loan regardless of your credit worthiness, then we start selling not on academics but amenities.
Exactly.
Oh, we've got brand new dorms with all new IKEA furniture and and we have a campus gym where the machines lift the weight for you and like they literally sell these like they sell colleges now like luxury apartments. Like they don't do academics tours. I mean, they do amenities tours. It's like you're renting a luxury condo in New York.
I blame the education department. This is one of the things that they do. They literally created this environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that environment's a direct. You could definitely link the chain to like guaranteed federal backed student loans for that.
100%. So yeah, I'm pretty much all down. I mean, I obviously I don't think he's gonna fully get rid of it without Congress, and at least break him down as far as you can. You know what I mean? Start the work.
Yeah, I'm
Get it
surprised there
going.
hasn't been an injunction already on that.
Like, what do you mean?
Like these activist judges.
Oh yeah, let's go to the activist judges. Yeah,
Yeah, like the USAID thing.
yeah. Well, the way I read it, they were saying that
I understand the USAID thing
okay,
because they were trying to get out of like paying some contractors for work that had already been done,
but not even that.
which is very on brand for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, that's how he made his first billion.
Just don't pay them.
Yeah, just get all the work done and don't pay them.
Like, well, I don't know you. Yeah,
Yeah, like, no, this wasn't done to specification.
But no, I was talking about the one that they were basically telling them to reinstate everything back,
Yeah.
and I think that was going. I mean, I don't know how they can even do that. Didn't the executive branch created them? They created this body, so why can they not get rid of it?
Yeah, I mean, they also had a judge rule that they can't deport the, how do you say that gang? It's not agua, because I know that's water.
What is it?
Araga? It's Trend. Let's just call him Trend.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the judge ruled they couldn't deport the Trend gang members down to El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom Homan did it anyway.
It's too late. They were in waters. They were in international waters.
Yeah,
sorry,
he goes,
sorry.
Yeah, but when the ruling came down, they were over international water. We can't send them back.
There's nothing we can do about that. Yeah.
Which was kind of funny, but
it was kind of funny. But yeah, it is well, I mean, I get it's very hard to take both sides really serious because they're not really arguing in good faith. No one's arguing in good faith. Everybody's kind of like has a sprinkle of the truth in there and then just hardcore on their own agenda. From the right, obviously, they're just like, hey, I basically said, we gotta get rid of these immigrants, and they're saying like immigrants are causing crime, and these are criminals that we're getting rid of. But obviously, there's a good amount of those people who are not convicted of anything. They're not really criminals at all. There was a lot of people who are being, shipped to these prisons who are technically haven't really done anything. And some of them even had their papers waiting for their hearings, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind due process. Like, I support giving them, like, a fair trial and due process and stuff, but...
Yes, but on the other side, on the left side, no one's acknowledging like these guys are criminals. Like, and they're saying that
this is MS-13.
Yeah, and they're trying to say that like I hate the equation of the concentration camp. They're just throwing that word around like willy nilly. Concentration camp.
Well, we take these Trend members, we take these MS-13 members, and we concentrate them at the camp in El Salvador. Sounds great to me. They're not out here.
Yeah, it's just like one side doesn't want to acknowledge the problem. The other side is going a little bit overboard. So it's very hard to side with anybody because most people, like, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle. I think most of these guys definitely need to be getting out of here if they're criminals. As simple as that. But there's a lot of them who are not criminals. It's like 50-50. I think the data was like...
Are they here illegally? They're criminals.
No, I'm not even talking about those. I'm talking about people who actually went to the asylum seeking and have their papers. Those are what I'm arguing. I'm not arguing the people who are like illegally here. There's a lot of them who are illegally here that should get their ass
back. The ones who did the CB Customs Border Patrol 1 app. Swipe right to apply for asylum. Trump's like, yeah, that's over.
Yeah, so that's I mean, they've done it. You created the system. They followed it, and they've done it. But the ones who haven't followed it, who sneaked in here, yeah, they should be sent back. But the ones who have went through the silly process that your own government created, regardless
use this app. Swipe right for asylum.
Regardless how easy it was, they followed that process, and they're waiting for their hearing. Now, if they didn't show up for their hearing, that's a whole different conversation. And that's another thing they're not being honest about it, that in the last few years, they have not been showing up for the hearings. Yes, I mean, they're using data like from 10 years ago saying that like, well, over 90% of people who seek asylum tend to show up their hearing. But in the last 3 years, the numbers is like, I think like 179 1,000 people didn't show up for their hearing. Like the
They're
numbers are
also
crazy.
scheduling the hearings way in advance, like 5 years out too.
That too, yeah.
Are you
'Cause
going to
they're just-
remember a court date 5 years from now?
Well, that's just a lot of people, and if they were doing that, I think even if 90% of people were showing up, I think there will be like 3 million hearing what is it, a year, and that's not happening.
Well, let's just deny them all.
Anyway, like I said, I just don't think both sides are generally being honest with it. It's just basically like everybody is catering to their base.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
base. I mean, let's even go to this. What is it? What's his name? Khalid. Is it Khalid Muhammad?
oh yeah, the Columbia University rabble rouser.
Rabble rouser. Anyway, yeah, that kid, yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I don't know why I'm calling him a kid. He's a grown ass man. Yeah, that guy.
he was a man who had a green card who was married to an American citizen.
Yeah. So, what do you think of that case? How do you interpret that case?
Well, I do feel that as long as he's non-violent, he does have a right to rabble rouse.
Rabble rouse.
But that said, as somebody who is just a green card holder or just on a student visa, like, they don't have the same rights that like actual citizens do too. I mean, like, you are here on.
He has a green card. It's not hit. I don't know why they keep. That's another thing that Ryan keeps saying, that is he has a student visa. No, he has.
Well, he had a student visa.
Okay, but he doesn't anymore.
Yeah, now he has a green card through marriage to a citizen.
Okay, so why are we going back to the student visa then?
Well, as an example of the student visa.
Okay, continue. All right, continue.
Oh, yeah, I understand he's a green card holder through marriage to an American.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's also kind of a privilege, though, too. You know what I mean? Like, green cards are a privilege. It's not a right. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you are here at the...
You're still a guest.
Yeah, you're a guest here.
You're in the, what is it?
You're here at our fancy.
Yeah. We're trying to
And-
see if you pass the test.
Yeah, like, yeah, you know, you do get certain privileges, you know, as a
But you
green
get a
card holder through marriage, but you don't have a right to be here. Like, you are here at our discretion.
Yeah, but the whole thing is that he committed. What is it? He's a sympathizer. So the argument that he's a sympathizer with a terrorist group.
A terrorist, terrorist affiliated adjacent.
Yeah. So therefore, if we want you out of here and you don't like, what is it? Stand for our, principles. You're with our enemy kind of thing. Then you need to get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
On the one hand,
if you're a green card holder, technically doesn't the First Amendment apply to you as well? Isn't that the argument?
well,
Because technically, if you're a citizen, you can support whoever you want. No one cares. There's nothing we can do about it. Once you're a green card, because of the First Amendment. So if you're a green card holder, doesn't the First Amendment apply to you as well?
Well, technically speaking, the way the founders felt was that we have what are considered natural rights. Like, every human has, like, a First Amendment right, they would have felt. Whether or not your government recognizes it is for you to petition.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, technically, the founders would have said, as a human, Khalid does have, like, a First Amendment right, because they called them natural rights. But
Okay, then shouldn't the argument be over there? Once you admit to the fact that he has the First Amendment right, he can say whatever he wants, regardless how much we disagree with and how dumb we think it is. He should be able to protest and say whatever nonsense he wants to say.
yes, and I do feel that is a slippery slope to start going down
Okay.
because
Technically, as a
the
green card,
next Democrat president, can
Yeah.
he just can he round up all the Trump supporters and deport them to the new colony of Greenland?
new colony of Greenland.
I mean, that is a slippery slope to deport somebody just for being a terrorist sympathizer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, let's just say, like, what is it? The January 6th rioters. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, fuck that guy, but on the other, like, I also realize like we're going down a real slippery path for the next time.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I mean, it's gonna go to court and we'll
But
find
again,
out.
as a green card holder, he doesn't really.
Dude, if you can, as a green card holder, you can what is it? Fight for the army, right?
Yeah, you can enlist in the army.
Okay, then what are we talking about here? So I can fight for this country, but I don't want to get the the First Amendment.
Yeah, I
what
mean,
are you?
like they can also just like just being a green card holder though. I mean, they're like your presence is detrimental to the operation here.
I mean, again, but I get it if you would have said a crime. Yeah, but again, obviously they're using a law where the Secretary of State, if he thinks you're not, American material, it can just be like, yo, you gotta get out of here, dog.
You got to go back to Palestine, rebuild Gaza.
So it seems like that's what they're using. Is like he's like, listen, man, Marco Rubio's like, hey, I make these. It's me. I'm the chief in charge of this.
I'm the decider.
And that's where people are like, that's pretty slippery slope. When you got Marco Rubio, obviously picking who's to stay and who's not to stay,
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, they were trying to have it in Louisiana because, conservatives as heck. They knew they were going to get their way if they went to Louisiana. But now they're going back to New Jersey. So we'll see. We'll see.
I would definitely petition for a change of venue.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But going back to the judges, the district judges, whatever. What else did they? So Trump was trying to basically impeach the guy. What is he doing? Why would he try to do that?
Yeah, I mean, that's not a good slope to go down either.
To the point that our supreme judge came down on him, and Justice Roberts like, this is not us, okay? I mean, and people are upset about the fact that Justice Roberts will come down and voice his opinion. He's basically like, we're a nation of laws. We shouldn't be, just because you disagree with the ruling of a judge, you shouldn't advocate for his impeachment. And obviously the conservative right just went off on him.
What if the judge is ruling nonsense though?
Well,
I mean, like,
yeah, but you can
can the chief of the executive department not regulate executive department business?
No,
if a judge says you can't, like, that judge is clearly full of shit.
That's not what he's making that argument. He's saying that for executive to just be like, impeach this judge because he doesn't agree with his ruling, that's where he's having a problem with.
Yeah, I mean,
just because you disagree with this guy's ruling, you shouldn't advocate for him to be impeached.
Yeah, I mean, that's what FDR tried too.
What did he do?
Well, so you know how FDR got elected in the height of the Great Depression, right?
Yeah.
And they did like the first 100 days and the New Deal and all that.
Yeah.
Most of the New Deal was flagrantly unconstitutional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Price controls, wage controls, like flagrantly unconstitutional. FDR was always getting slapped by the courts for the New Deal.
Okay.
So his logic was, those 9 guys on the Supreme Court are a real problem. Let's just add 6 more that I pick, and then that'll even it out. So he was the first one to float the idea of packing the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Yeah. So thankfully they didn't do that, and there was a big outrage over it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, historically this is nothing new. Like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, some of these judges, they do make rulings that are clearly well outside of their lane or outside of like case law, constitutionality.
Yes, but I would say the same thing even during administration. There were judges like that who were, I mean, he was breaking some constitutional law, like the forgiving student loan specifically. Like that was definitely against the Constitution. And there were a lot of judges who came out and they were like, no, you can't do this. But he didn't come out and say impeach these judges. That's the problem here. You don't have to agree with him. It's the fact that like this, the executive branch is coming out and basically going to the judicial branch and telling them like, get this guy out of here. Let's impeach this guy. It just doesn't look good. I think that's what the Chief Justice was trying to express himself. which is right. I mean, I definitely agree with him. Like, he shouldn't be advocating for a judge. Just if you believe he's wrong, take it to the Supreme Court and they'll make decisions. I mean, there's a lot of cases going to go to the Supreme Court and they'll decide. There's no reason to be, to be Trump.
First off, I have no faith in the Supreme Court.
Okay.
But secondly, I mean, that's also kind of a problem too, because I mean, it's just like so much is about to go to the Supreme Court and they work so slowly. I mean, like, their docket's already full.
That's true.
I mean, like, are we going to find out like 5 years from now whether Trump has the authority to shut down USAID?
Well, I'm sure some of these. Well, I mean, hold on. I mean, they definitely make exception on certain cases. They moving up pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, they can. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's what they did with the Biden, the one that the student loan one.
Yeah, they will actually really take quick. Emergency. Yeah. But I mean, for the most part, the workings of the Supreme Court move very slowly.
Yes.
Especially because a lot of the justices, Amy Coney Barrett in particularly, she's one that definitely believes in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, first it has to go to the district court, then it has to go to the appellate court, and then, so like
go through the system.
All these courts have all these full dockets and it takes all this time, it's like, yeah, these are somewhat pressing concerns though, so.
Yeah, but even the dismantling, that case specifically, I think they were just, and also that's why I thought it was silly the way this judge ruled, is that he's like, I'm not saying the executive branch cannot try to dismantle this department, but it shouldn't be Elon making these decisions. The judge should know the fact that Elon is not making these decisions. He's just giving them, like, his findings. He's not. Mark Rubio is the one who's making the decisions. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
but he should have known. Like, as a judge, he knows that. So obviously, he's also like just pandering to the base.
Yeah, I mean, these are activist judges, like stench from the bench, like.
Yeah, right when I saw that, like, the ruling doesn't affect the process. He's just basically voicing his opinion that I agree with you. Doge shouldn't have any kind of power right to.
I don't like Elon Musk.
It's just so silly.
You're right, but I don't like Elon Musk.
So I thought that was pretty silly. I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, obviously the left is pretty happy about the ruling, but the ruling literally just points out that Elon doesn't have the power to get rid of these people. But again, that's not even happening. So I don't know.
Well,
what's the point that is?
And that's the thing too. Like, Stephen Miller explained it so well at a press conference. He goes, the president's the only person that everybody votes on in the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all the congressmen, that's all done at the district level. Like the president's the one guy we all vote for.
Yeah.
And he goes, the president selects advisors, and those advisors report to the president, and Trump ran on a platform of these will be my advisors. So therefore, that's an affront to democracy. If like Trump said, Elon is going to be my hatchet man.
Mm-hmm.
The voters agreed that Elon should be my hatchet man.
Mm-hmm.
What's the problem with Elon being my hatchet man? I told you this was going to be my guy. This is the guy. Why do you hate democracy?
You claim,
you claim to be the saviors of democracy, but like,
when
when I'm doing it how it's supposed to be done,
like
I pick my advisors, I pick my cabinet, like,
lay off.
What's going on?
Okay, let's go to Schumer. What's going on, my boy Schumer?
Oh,
well, let me sum it up before you go. So obviously the whole thing that was going on was the government was going to get shut down.
Yeah.
And Schumer's in charge of the Senate Democrats.
The minority leader.
Yeah. And obviously there was a debate inside the Democrat that should we let the government get closed so we can blame Trump for it. But the problem with that is that if you've done that, this just gives them more power of them to be like, all right, this is perfect. Now we can get rid of, obviously we can because the executive, once the government shut down, the executive gets to pick who should get funding. So they would just pick what they think it works, and they would just obviously not fund the part of the government they think is they're already trying to get rid of. And then eventually, the American people would have seen the fact that, oh, the government's running fine. I thought they said we needed these people.
Yeah,
we actually don't need them.
Every shutdown before, like, what actually happens? Like, you never even notice the government shut down.
But specifically in
the
this,
sun still comes up and the garbage still gets taken out.
Yeah, but specifically in this one, you know what I mean? So Elon and Trump, obviously their goal is to slice the government as much as they can where they think there's waste.
Afuera.
Now they just have the perfect power of like picking and choosing what really needs to get sliced out. So that would be the one thing if they would have agreed to shut it down. But if they would have just be okay, passing the bill and keeping the government open, it was that the fact that the Republicans get everything they want on it, because they basically, the Democrats weren't even on the table. Everything it was on this bill was just everything that the Republicans wanted to happen. So it was basically like there was no win. There was just lose in either way. So Schumer was the guy that basically said, I'd rather have the government be opened and not have Trump basically slash these, body of government that he wants. So there's a base of the Democrat Party where just like, I can't believe you would do that. I can't believe you caved in to these Nazis.
Broke the ranks.
So he wrote a book or something. So he was going to town halls. They had to cancel the town halls because there were people aggressively like trying to obviously protest against him. And also, I guess there were also some threats. I don't know where these threats come from. So they had to close down a bunch of his town halls. So instead of doing that, he decided to go to The Views. Did you see him on The Views?
Like,
well, go ahead.
That man is not winning the hearts and minds. Like,
dude, he got.
I couldn't think of a worse spokesman for the Democrat Party. like what is the matter with these people thinking that Schumer is going to bring in like the young people?
Yeah.
Or like, I couldn't imagine somebody so off-putting or out of touch to the perspective of the young people. I mean, like, is the guy 75 years old? Yes. Does he look every bit of 85? Also, yes. Like, he doesn't need to wear his reading glasses 24/7. Like, right on the tip of his nose. Like, he looks ridiculous. You look old as shit like this. Like, you are not endearing yourself to the young people who already feel this is a gerontocracy.
Right.
Like, and Mitch McConnell, he spazzed out again today.
What did he do? What did he spazz up about?
Well, he was at a news conference, and the lady was like, Mitch McConnell, what do you think about the Trump tariffs in response to in regards to the prices for your constituents in Kentucky? And he's just staring straight ahead, and he goes, I'm sorry, my hearing isn't what it used to be. So then he had to have his staffer be like, tariffs, Mitch!
Oh, my God.
And then he just still kept kind of looking ahead. So, I mean...
But he was getting lecture at The Views by... What's her name? The mixed girl?
Oh, Sonny?
Yeah, he was getting lectured by...
Whose family owned slaves?
Yeah, he was on The Views getting lectured by Sonny, and she was telling him, like, he goes, she went on a rant about, you should never agree to pass this bill. You sold us out, and I just don't think it's right what you did. And he was just like, I agree. He just caved completely. But first, he actually went on to explaining why he decided to vote for the bill, and he made sense the way he said it. He's like, he basically said what I was just saying, like, if I would have let the government shut down, he would have his way. But this way, the federal workers can get paid. There's no problem with, which they do support. I mean, it's not the whole thing. Aren't they fighting
back to these poor federal workers?
Aren't the Democrats fighting for the poor federal workers that needs to get paid? We shouldn't shut the government down.
These
for that
poor
reason.
union members.
If we shut the government down, we are, what is it? There's going to be a lot of people who need the government to work, who are benefiting from it, like, just the poor, the needy people. if we shut the government down, who's gonna give them what they need, you know? But now she's basically advocating, why didn't you keep the government shut down? So it's just like, what are you talking about?
Why did you let Trump win?
That's basically it. That's basically, why did you let Trump win? That's basically what she asked. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And he had nothing to like. It was just kind of crazy to see this man just like knew that his party is not the party that he knew anymore. It's gone. They're gone.
Oh, did you see that Gavin Newsom's a podcaster now?
Yeah, that's also another crazy thing. He's
Gavin
come to the
Newsom
middle.
2028,
Dude.
All of a sudden he's moderate now.
What was it? He had what's that guy named?
Steve Bannon.
No. The first one. The first podcast he had. What was his name? Christian something. Like he's oh my god. Hold on.
Yeah, I can't. I just yeah.
You know him. He's like one of the young guys.
Well, my thing
He
is
looks pretty slow in the face.
Shane Gillis,
Charlie Dickin or something.
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk. That was his first one. Yeah, he had it with Charlie Kirk, and they were talking about transgender. And I think he.
Oh yeah, then he was like, "No, it's unfair for men to compete against women."
That's right.
Where did this come from?
He's pivoting.
Like, where did this come from?
He is pivoting hard. Okay, hard. I mean, like, I didn't expect this at all.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Gavin Newsom hates trans now.
That's what everybody was saying.
Yeah, like, who is this guy?
And then he had Steve Bannon, obviously, and he's like, "No, you're making some good points." And then he had Tim. Was his last name?
Oh, Tim Dillon.
No. He's not there yet. No, Tim Waltz.
The governor?
Yeah, the governor of Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota, yeah.
Tim Waltz. So he showed up. Is it Tim Waltz?
Walls.
Tim Waltz.
Walls. I
Anyway.
think WALZ, Walls.
Yeah, so he came on the podcast and he was like hammering, he's like, why would you invite Steve Bannon here? What could he possibly
Why would
say?
you give Steve Bannon platform?
And he's like, well, I mean, he has some good points, you know. He's saying what my father and all of them used to say. He's like, he's talking, he was advocating policies that the old Democrat Party would advocate. And I was just kind of like, man, this guy is really pivoting hard. And then,
Oh, now you're an old Democrat? Oh, now you're a Kennedy Democrat?
What is it, Tim Walz? And then did you see Tim Walz like, I can kick any Trump voter's ass. You know what I'm saying?
Tampon Tim said that?
That's what he said. He goes, I can kick any of their asses, you know?
Assistant coach Tim? Never deployed Tim?
Yeah, so I guess, Gavin Newsom is really trying to prepare himself for 2028, you know?
Yeah, it's like you got all these problems, like all these burned up Teslas leaching chemicals in the ocean, but you got time to be on the fucking podcast circuit with Steve Bannon saying, you know, that's Steve Bannon. He's a sharp cookie. He's got a lot of good points.
Oh, my God.
Like,
oh, man. But
you can't make this shit up.
Yeah, well, it's getting crazy. I mean, what is it?
Oh, that's what it is, too. Like, it's Johnny-come-latelyism. Like,
what is that?
The left is still, like, scratching their head over how Kamala Harris lost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're kind of starting to nibble around some of the edges. You know, they're like, man, we need Joe Rogan. We need a Joe Rogan. Man, Trump went on a podcast. That's what we need to do. We need a podcast. And they're like, who do we got? Who do we have that'll say literally anything? Bring me Newsom. Yeah, like literally they're just like, wait, we need to get in the podcast game. That's how we're going to beat him.
Newsom. Okay. Good luck to them.
Yeah,
I mean, the best thing they have now is AOC. I think she's basically their front runner. I mean, they did a poll. The poll showed.
Is she going to be old enough in 2028?
Yes, she's going to be
You have to be
old enough.
35.
Is she not already 35?
I have no idea.
She's definitely 35. What are you talking about?
I have no idea what her age is. I just know she's young.
That's like what she's known for, being young.
Young and dumb.
She's 35 right now.
All right. So in 2028, she'd be about 40.
There you go.
That's about how old Kennedy was.
She's ready to go.
She's ready.
But yeah, so the party itself is
So well spoken.
Anyway, the party itself isn't a mess, as we were talking about. They don't know. They have no identity anymore. They don't know which way to go. There's people like Schumer's around who they completely disagree.
The old heads.
They got the old heads. They got the new heads. You know,
they got the Ilhan Omars and the AOCs.
And then now you got new.
And now you got I'm a Kennedy Democrat Newsom. All of a sudden.
Yeah, so it's gonna be very interesting to see the next 4 years how the Democrat Party shapes itself. You know.
Yeah, and they. Oh, did you see that thing? That real cringe thing where they put out the choose your fighter thing that they put on TikTok?
Let's not get into it. We gotta finish this. This too much. That was very cringe. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I didn't want to even take it serious.
Identity politics. That was like the achievement of first Latina congressman. They're still on identity politics.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Yeah. Anything else before we go?
No, yeah, it's just the Democrats just don't understand.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna end it here. We'll see you guys next week.